We received online another. Is it this part 12?
Yes.
Spanish? What do I do now? Okay, we have another scene from who was it?
Gloria. All right, we receive another movie scene. No, I'm not. I think. Oh, I'm here. Okay, we receive another movie scene from our online participants, Ms. Claudia Marichani. The scene 1 she gave is woman went to the river to fetch water. Scene 2, children came by the river after school to play. Scene 3, one of the children tried to help the woman carry the water, but slipped and fell into the water. And scene 4, her friends came to rescue and pulled her out of the water. That is a movie scene.
Okay. I'm wondering why you or she is saying it's only 2 scenes, because it sounds like 4. It is 4 scenes. Okay. Well done, Claudia. It is clear. You know, you have your establishing scene. You have the new actors coming. You have the crisis developing and how it's resolved. Well done. And thank you for making the effort. We need to get to the format. I will just show you quickly this format. If I find it. Yeah. So, do we need to change it again? Did we have something else at the top yesterday? Do we keep it like that? Oh, of course, this is a video. Is it the video? Let's see. Yeah, it's a video. Okay, and this part is the same, the series. What did you say again it was called? What does AS stand for? Advanced. Level. And then the subject, or how? Do you call it like geography or something? AS level geography, something, is that? Okay, thank you. Then, from there, you might have program 1, and the name, and then you have the program developer. Do you need the PD telephone number here as well, or you want to give an office number perhaps? Let's say okay, 061. You do, okay. Yeah? Okay. Yeah, because when the people are writing, they are at home. And you are also. Okay? Okay. Then you have the writer and the telephone number, and you have the date submitted, even if it's just a month. Now, so Just like before, you have exactly the same information that you provide there. Here you have an extra column. You have the voices that you're going to use, or like it's the actors really. But it's not the actors, it is the people's voices really. Okay, but only it's not the voice, in this case it's the person. Okay, so if you don't want to confuse maybe the people, something like that. Which term do you prefer? To say these are the actors, knowing that it's not the actors really, or should it be I don't think it should be the voices. Is people okay for you? These are basically the people you have in your well, you have the presenter. You have the presenter there. And then you have maybe in that scene the teacher, the farmer, and the children in the village or something. Okay, so basically you're just indicating these are the people in your program. The visuals, these are visuals that have to be filmed. Esther? Do you have this format on your laptops? Okay, so you can change it as we go. Esther?
Okay, I want to speak under correction from the colleagues. The people there, with the new videos, if I remember correctly, we were told we should only have one person, except for the radios where we can have 3 people. So just for the writers when they are writing, to have that in mind that even if you put in a child, they are not shooting or paying another person, but only one.
Maybe I miscommunicated, because we are not saying there should be only one on video. We're not saying that. We are saying you have 3 outcomes, basically, and for each outcome you must have an activity. The activity could be like a demonstration or something, so you have a person there, you have an expert there. So when we are saying, that is why we have complications here with people. So these are actually your experts. So it's not necessarily people that you have to pay, but it is people, it's people that will be in your program, because they show the real life situation that you are trying to portray.
Give an example.
You have a program about farming methods or biology. You have a program about the heart or the digestive system, or let's say about air or about solar energy. Okay, let's say you have a program about solar energy. So solar energy in Namibia is very relevant because we have a very strong sun. So it is something that is being very much promoted now. So it is definitely not something we can only talk about, because there's solar energy is big in other countries. We should really show our own things. I know in Gubabes, if you drive towards Gubabes, there's a huge piece of land where you just see solar there. So maybe there's like a solar farm or something. But the point being, we have those. So we have also the experts. We have local and German and Chinese businesses that have expertise in that, in Windhoek, in Namibia. So they have to give information. So you construct a few questions for them. What is solar energy really? Why is it important? And what are the implications? Like, what is the cost? The practicality. So these people have to be on site and have to show you, oh, these are what the panels look like, and these are the batteries, and so on. So somebody who can actually show you what things look like. These people, it's like a news organization where the NBC goes out to somebody and they have to give the information. They give it for the nation. They don't get payment. They do it to expose themselves. That's the benefit they get out of it. They are seen as an expert. It's not a matter of payment. So it's also in the way that we approach those people. Not as though, can you do me a favor, please? No, I'm doing you a favor. No, not to say it like this, but to approach them to say, we are doing this for our youth. We are doing a program on this. I know you're an expert on this. I would like to film you. It will take maximum a half hour of your time. Literally just these 4, but on the scene where you are working. Can you please answer these questions? Do you think that would work? You don't seem convinced. It's not on.
The expert is not part of the video again, and it is supporting
Scenes.
Say for supporting what we call it, the people, the presenter, or for the video itself. It will be that presenter or narrator or presenter.
Presenter.
But then we will must now have this supporting the inserts.
Yeah.
The inserts.
Okay.
And then underneath that, then we list now, if you have an expert or the what. So that they know it's not for the whole video, the people involved.
So here is where we use this column for planning. Okay? So you are saying we indicate insert 1, which means this is
But
where
it's not the people.
Where you have outcome 1
and
the expert that you are talking there to, or whoever it is.
Yeah.
So for insert 1, here is where you will have maybe a list. Maybe it's more than one.
Yeah. You would list the required
people there. Okay. So 2, and then maybe in the insert 3 you have only vox pops, or you have an expert in and vox pops, something like that. Okay. Are we fine with this? Then we move on to the visuals. The visuals to be filmed. Okay, so here is where, according to, this is what we were referring to as the shot list. So these are the shots that you will need for your program. And the shots individually, as you list them here, you will indicate them in a script where they will be used. Okay? So, visuals to be filmed. These are the shots that you think up that you will need as your story progresses. And in that order, you can indicate them here.
So the village scenes will now be aligned with the insert characters.
No, this is where you introduce maybe that farming situation, for example. So this is where you indicate where the camera team will go to film the scene. Why? Because maybe you are going to have text over it being narrated, or maybe you want, or maybe you need natural sound from that farm or from that river or so. So it is not to say that this goes with the expert. This goes for the piece of script where you are explaining content. Okay? Okay, let's return to this if we have to after going through one of the programs. So the props are those things that you need for the PD to prepare for shooting. Okay, you need a bucket of water. It's just a silly example. Maybe you need a hat. You need a school uniform, things like that. If you're going to have a school scene, that child also must have been something that looks real life. Okay, so those are the things you have to prepare, and it's the PD that has to prepare that. So you have to clearly indicate. Again, learning objectives, here is where we are talking about the points from the syllabus, basically. Okay? So this is where it comes from. Then learners should be able to, and again, explain, identify. Normally you start with identify and then explain, because identify is just like one word. Right? Explain is something longer, and explain or apply or something. Apply the method of what and what. So normally that's where you have something easy like identify or list or something like that, or describe. This is where it goes a bit deeper, discuss or something. And here is where you have an action to demonstrate a competency to some parameters. Okay. Now we had it like this. The scenes, we would have maybe 5 scenes. Why? You would start with the scene, which is like your introductory things. Then you would have outcome 1, outcome 2, outcome 3, and the ending. Now, maybe you have to introduce before you go to outcome 1. So that might add some. Maybe you have to summarize before you say goodbye. So that adds again another scene. A scene is where you have the camera there and something happening there. So when you go to another something now in the script, you have now an explanation. You will no longer do it there. The scene is only what is happening, what is filmed there. So another kind of visual look is another scene. Okay. So don't be very static about how many scenes. You know that basically you have to introduce an activity and you have to explain that activity. So whether you can do it on the scene as the narrator to say, here we have Mr. Lowe and he is an expert in drilling. So yeah, Mr. Lowe, and then you have your questions to him. Okay, so, or whether you show something and the narrator, you can only narrate over what the visuals that you have there, that is also possible. So it will range from from script to script. Okay, our objective is just to make it visually pleasing, lots of sounds, very definitely a lot of application from real life. So there would be the music and the ID, there would be the name of the program, all those things are standard, they've got it there. You don't have to worry about that. Then here is where you will make a graph. Say this is lesson 3, safety in our environment. That was the lesson, that was maybe the lesson topic. And this is maybe the lesson. Okay, so the safety in our environment was the lesson title, whereas this first aid is really now what you are calling it. Okay, then we move on to, so visually, this column is what you are hearing, and that is what you are seeing. So while you are hearing that, you are seeing this. Okay. Then scene 1. So it is really much more complicated to do the video script until you are used to it. Because you have to think it all up. Once you are there on the scene and you film it, it's all easier, because the script and the sounds and the visuals all happen in 1 second, running alongside each other. But for you as the script writer to think it up, that is a little more complicated. Like here, we have scene 1, home garden area with a large tree. Why? Because obviously you want to use this large tree. So that is the scene, how it's described. And that is what you see, is a home garden area with a large tree. Then you have the presenter there. He's obviously there at the scene. And he says hello and whatever, a warm Namibian welcome. So he's introducing the program there at the scene. Okay? In this case, in this case, we have not indicated. It depends on the script writer now what he's planning.
Because most of those is going to be done in studio. The welcoming, the narrator things. So we can have the background.
Okay. It would be best, since you are going out to some real places. It would be good if, since you are there as the writer on the scene, it just shows the viewer what is coming, the atmosphere of what is coming. But the presenter is on the scene. No, it's not there when it's filming. Yeah. Okay. All right. So the suggestion is it might happen in the studio. Yeah. So that's fine. If it has budget implications, just to say that if, sorry, okay, all right, because just like you need not actually expect the expert to charge you money, it's need not. It could also be part of the presenter's thing. Not that if you sit in the studio, it costs this, and if you are on the scene, it costs that. No?
The costing for our producers, the rates that we're having, the way the model that we have taken on, does not allow for the normal way of running around and doing those type of things. The way that we have, that's why I'm saying let's discuss
Okay.
the template that Lynette proposed,
Okay.
but we can adapt to what we can do and afford.
Okay.
Because the rate per program
Yeah.
for filming and editing will be affected by the way that the rate, we have a standard rate.
Yeah.
Definitely, if we bring in these extra things, it will affect the rate, but this is not for everybody. It's now in our story.
Yeah.
So let's discuss the template as Lynette proposed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just go through it as a proposal, and then we can talk about the practicalities. My proposal is that actually if it depends now. I thought that the writer will definitely be there when it's being filmed. The content writer, not always.
It's the same as for the radio, not always.
Okay.
So like if Ms. Besser is now doing it, this is now for the Namcol project, the current project.
Yeah.
Not for the other institutions, it depends on what they want to do.
Okay.
But for the current project, it might change for another project at Namcol. But for the current project, like Mrs. Renette is now stationed in Swakopmund.
Yeah.
And now we want to do the filming. Now we want her to come from Swakop to come do it. No, it's not always possible.
Yeah.
So then we go most for the second one to get the content editor. That's also a subject expert to
Yeah.
come and do
Okay.
the recording.
Okay. Okay. So let's say when you have the writer who is going to do, if you have the person who is presenting present at a scene, they might as well do their intro there. So that is my suggestion. So, and if you cannot, then the studio is okay. Okay, let's say that would be my preferred option. So in this video learning program, we are going to show you da-da-da. So I'm just saying, if possible, if the person is there on the scene, it would be good if he can say this whole scene too, this whole introduction, can have it there. If it's done in the studio, if they can't, or it's a different person, then the studio, yeah, it's fine, because you are using these graphics anyway. You are showing this is the syllabus and so on. Okay. Then we need the learning outcomes. Nice that the learning outcomes can be put on the screen in this case. It's only 4 lines because you have learning outcomes, and then you have your 3 learning outcomes there. Let's look at, just for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words. Now the last one is a problem. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 words. So this is where we would have to be creative to think, to just make it shorter. Then, so you say something like, we have 3 learning objectives or learning outcomes, or we are going to show you 3 competencies today, or whatever, and then you list them. It's this, it's this, it's this. Actually, here is where you will list the competencies, so that while you are reading it, you see it as well. Okay. Then let's get started, and then you can go straight to the on-site for the first outcome.
Lynette, before we move to this, just to the learning outcomes, based on a question I received, is that the learning outcomes, the 3 is a guideline.
Yeah.
It's not to say you must have 3.
No.
You can have 2, you can have 4.
Yeah.
Depending on the topic, the content that you want to share.
Yeah.
Just to make that one clear.
Yes, thank you for pointing that out. Yeah. If you have 2, it looks like, oh, this is not really a lesson. If you have more than 4, it becomes very hard to have it meaningfully elaborated on. So if we have 3 to 4, that's good. Okay, so firstly, you are there at the site, it all happens naturally. So here, you would say, let's say you explain what they called in the radio script the pain or the problem, okay? Okay, so meaning maybe you also find it very hard to write a speech, or to maybe you're one of those people who don't like types of grammar, the analysis of so it's then good to express the pain or the problem, and then you come introduce the expert who is then helping to give the solution. Christoph? Right up top. Yeah, it's good if you have here demonstrate something. That's fine. No, well, in terms of the words.
Yeah. The number of words. Yeah, but we have to keep them just that way. Yeah, because Lynette mentioned that we have to fix them. We cannot change
so
them.
that they are 6 in a line.
Yes.
So, of course, these are our, this is what we strive for. So, if at all possible, we will try, we are thinking together, the writer, then there comes the PD, then comes the next guy. So we will try to condense it so that it still says the same thing, but it has fewer words if possible.